Welcome everybody to today's presentation. My name is Jay Moore. I'm part of AWeber's marketing team, and today we're going to talk about writing for your automated email campaign. And before we get started, just want to cover a few things real quick. This presentation should go about 25, maybe 30 minutes tops. I try to keep these under a half hour just to make sure I keep everybody's attention, but we got a lot to cover. So about 20-25 minutes. At the end of the presentation, there's going to be some Q&A, but while I'm talking, if something comes to mind, feel free to type something in that little questions box. It's on that GoToWebinar control panel running on your desktop. If I don't happen to answer your question during the presentation, I'll make sure I definitely get to it at the end. Also, just want to let everybody know that right after we wrap things up today, after the Q&A, probably about 30 or so minutes afterwards, I'll be sending everybody a recording of the webinar. So in case you got to leave a little bit early, you just want to rewatch a couple parts, don't worry. I'm going to make sure everybody here gets that recording. All right, it's a little after 3 here on the East Coast, so let's get things started. For those of you just joining us, I'd like to reintroduce myself. Again, my name is Jay Moore. I'm part of AWeber's marketing team. And today, let's talk about writing for your automated email campaign. So, as always, I like to start off with a little bit of what we're going to cover today. So, what are we going to cover today? We got 3 basic points we're going to go over. We're going to talk about evergreen content, what that is, and some examples of evergreen content as well. I've got a couple examples actually from some different emails from some different companies that we're going to kind of break down and showcase off why they're good pieces of evergreen content. I've also got an example of something that is not a good piece of evergreen content. The other thing we're going to talk about and we're going to cover today is some writing prompts and some starters. So I've put together a couple scenarios where you might want to use an automated campaign. We're going to cover those, and we're going to talk about what you might want to write in each of those scenarios. I'm also going to dive into the AWeber account and actually show how you would build an automated campaign using AWeber's campaigns. All right, let's kick things off. First, let's start with evergreen content. Now, I'm sure most, if not all of you in the audience, have at least heard the term evergreen content. If you've been doing email marketing for any amount of time, somebody's probably said this to you before. So what is evergreen content? Well, evergreen content is content that's going to be useful and fresh regardless of when someone signs up to your list. So it doesn't matter if I sign up today, tomorrow, or 3 weeks from now. The content that you're sending out in your automated campaigns should be useful to me. But you know what? Evergreen content is one of those things that is easier to describe when you tell people what it isn't. And really, to put it basically, evergreen content is not time sensitive. So first up, an example. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Tiger Direct. It's a website that deals with electronics. Oh, and I hit the escape. There we go. That deals with electronics, cameras, computers, all sorts of things. So I pulled this email out of my inbox. I know it's a little dated, but that kind of proves my point. What I'm trying to talk about here is this is a great example of something that is time sensitive. It's not evergreen content. Obviously, we look at the very top of this email, and we got the picture of Santa Claus right here. So obviously this is for the holidays. It's for Christmas. It's April. Christmas is long past us now. So this is very time sensitive. And even if you look at some of the content here, we've even got a camera listed. It's on sale, but the sale ends 12/23. So pretty easy to understand that this is an example of not evergreen content. This is time sensitive content. So another way to put this is, let's look at a calendar view. Let's say that, here's April. Let's say April 5th, you are having a sale at your website, and you send out an email that, hey, there's a sale on my website today only. If this was an automated email that people get when they sign up to your list, it would be great if they sign up on or before the 5th. But let's say I sign up on the 8th. Well, that's no good to me because if I get that email, that sale's already over. So now we have to think, what is evergreen content? So we know that evergreen content is content that is not time sensitive. So I've queued up a few examples of really good evergreen content. Let's look at the first one. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Wistia. It's one of my favorite video hosting companies. They got a great personality. They got a great tool. So when I signed up for Wistia for the very first time, I got an automated email, and I was actually started on an automated campaign, and it was basically giving me some good evergreen content. And the very first email that I got was your typical thank you and welcome email. And the thank you welcome email is an integral part of any automated campaign because it really kicks things off. So let's take a look at what this email has done right. Well, first, it thanks me for my purchase. So this can work whether you're talking to somebody who has purchased your product or a prospect who's interested in your product. You can thank them for the purchase, or you can thank them for signing up at your site, for joining your community, for joining your email list. Basically, you're starting to build that relationship, that rapport with your subscribers. So it's a great way to kick off an email with a, hey, thank you for signing up. Another great thing that they do in this email, and another great piece of evergreen content, is reaching out and letting me know that I can contact them if I need any help. They put in their email support, their support email. Now, I know that many of you out there might not have an entire team to support them, but you should still give your subscribers and your audience a way to contact you if they have any questions. I've said this before dozens of times, but it's worth repeating. Email is a two-way street. If you think about it, a lot of other traditional forms of advertising, radio, newspaper, TV, it's a way of talking at your audience. Whereas email, you have the chance to talk with your audience. So I always highly recommend, especially for an automated campaign, that you give people a chance and an opportunity to contact you if they've got questions. One other thing they do really good in this email is they give me something to do after I'm done reading it. They give me a way to go back to their site and explore more. There's a link to their website, there's a link to their blog, and even their Twitter feed if I want to join that community. A lot of people I've noticed over the years, what they'll do is they'll set up an automated campaign and it kind of ends with a dead end. Sure, there may be a call to action, but most of the emails are just copy and that's it. Every one of your emails you send out should have a link that takes people somewhere, whether it's to your site, to your Facebook page, anywhere. Now, another great example is from Zillow. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Zillow. It's a service, it's a site that helps you to find homes that are on sale in your area. So a couple years ago, I decided I wanted to buy a home, and I did. I still don't know if I regret that decision or not. I bought a fixer-upper, so it's still up in the air. But I really loved Zillow's automated email series that they sent when I signed up. Sure, it started off with your typical thank you, welcome to Zillow, things like that. But really what they tried to do in their email series is to educate me about the home buying process. So one of the great things I love about this particular automated email is that it starts off with a question. What's your price range? A great source of content for your automated emails, and really any of your emails, is your own inbox. Any frequently asked questions that your audience may be sending you. Chances are, if somebody's asked a question about your business or your product, other people have that same or similar question. In fact, there may be people out there that have the question or want the answer, but don't even know that they have that question. So dig around in your inbox, see if you can find some frequently asked questions and use that to produce content for automated emails that you have. So in this case, when I'm looking for a home to buy, one of the questions I had was, well, how much home can I actually afford? So this email really addresses that. Another thing is, kind of like the Wistia email before that, there's links back to their site and to other tools that they offer right at the top of that email. There's things for me to do other than just simply read the email itself. And of course, they help to answer that what's your price range question with a link to an estimate calculator. So again, I really love this kind of email because while it's not directly selling a product, it's educating the audience about a particular topic. And educational content is a real cornerstone of evergreen content and any automated campaign. So break it down a little bit further. What are some of the things we can write about in our automated campaigns? Well, one topic is an About Us email. anytime you can give any information about your business, where you came from, why you do what you do, any background info, it's really valuable because it helps to build that rapport, that relationship with your customers, or I should say potential customers. If you think about it, the more you know about a business, the more likely you're going to trust them, and the more you trust them, the more likely you're going to actually spend money with them. So any kind of about us is a great topic for an automated email. Also, contact info, kind of like what we saw with that Wistia email. Any way to let people get in touch with you, that's a great piece of evergreen content. And again, I understand not everybody here has a full team to support them that can just answer phones, things like that. But just acknowledging with your audience that you're there and you're willing to talk with them, it's that great leap in that building that trust and that relationship. Plus, the more you ask people for feedback and questions, the more content you're going to get for future emails. Which kind of ties in with that frequently asked questions. Like I said, ask your subscribers for feedback, ask them for questions, go into your inbox and see what people have asked about in the past. That inbox is a wealth of content for any of the automated emails that you'll be creating. See if there's a bunch of frequently asked questions and either group them together in one email or spread them out over several emails. All this is doing is answering questions that people may not ask, or again, they may not even know that they have, but it's also helping you to educate people about your business and about your product. Those last 2 points actually kind of go together, the sales funnel and educational content. A lot of people set up an automated series of emails for a sales funnel with the end goal being, okay, somebody's going to buy my product. But a sales funnel is more than just trying to sell your product to your subscribers. It's educating them about your product. It's giving them information that's going to give them an idea how they can use your product, how they can benefit from your product. Allowing them to kind of put themselves in the mindset of, okay, if I had this, I'd be able to do this. So that educational content can be a real integral part of a sales funnel that ends up turning a prospect into a paying customer. So I mentioned with a sales funnel, there's that end goal of somebody buying a product. So whenever you're creating any automated email campaign, you want to think about your end goal. So your end goal can be a bunch of different things. And for everybody in the audience, it may be something a little different. Your end goal might be building a community. You might be looking to create a community of like-minded people in the same industry. Maybe you want to build your YouTube channel. That's a form of a community. I guarantee you most of you are falling under the selling a product. Your end goal is to sell some kind of product or service to your subscribers. Or you may be trying to just teach something. I know a lot of people use Aweber and use any kind of automated email service to teach a topic or teach a course. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the term eCourse. So with these end goals in mind, I've set up some kind of templates that we can use to get writing prompts, to get ideas for content for your very own automated email series. So let's start off with building an automated email series for a community. So what are some points we want to consider? Well, with this kind of automated series, we want to consider things like having a welcome email. This is important because we want to welcome people to the community. That first step in getting that kind of camaraderie together is welcoming people and building that relationship right from the start. It's also good in any kind of welcome email you create, whether it's to build a community or really any other scenario, is to set some expectations. Let people know what they're going to be seeing in future emails. That also really helps drastically reduce the instances of spam complaints. A lot of times people complain about spam not because it's something they didn't sign up to, but it's because it's something they didn't expect. They sign up to get emails about dogs, and then they start getting emails about cats. They'll mark that as spam because, hey, that's not what they expected to receive. Another point to consider when building an email campaign for a community is asking for feedback. So asking for feedback from your subscribers is going to help to shape what that community looks like. And also another point to consider is where do I go now? So you don't want to just end it with, all right, let's build this community. You want to give some kind of actionable item to your subscribers. Again, this could be encouraging them to participate in a forum. It could be encouraging them to subscribe to your YouTube channel so you can grow that community. So I've set up a series of 5 emails. Now, these are kind of a combination of something that could be the subject line of your email, or simply could be the seed to start a writing prompt for the rest of the content that goes in the email itself. But for the first email in the series, we want to welcome people, so we welcome people to the club. The second email, we have some community rules, let people know, if we're doing like any kind of online forum, what the rules are. And again, just letting them know what to expect and what your expectations are of the community. Of course, email 3 encourages them to send you a question if they've got any feedback or suggestions. Email 4 asks something a little bit more specific than just suggestions. It says, what can we do to improve the community? So if you're looking to build any kind of community, you really want a lot of input from the members of that particular community. And email number 5, in this case, we're going to direct people to check out our YouTube channel. Now, like I said, these are just very generic, so this can be different depending on what your specific end goal is. But let's say we were trying to build our YouTube community up a little bit. That 5th email would be encouraging people to check out that channel. So now, with this in mind, let's go into an Aweber account and actually build one of these in campaigns. So I'll just go up to messages. Let's click drafts first. I've actually drafted a couple messages for us to use. And it's really just those subject lines that you saw on that previous slide. So with these emails created, we're going to go over to campaigns. We'll create one and we'll just call it Building a Community. So people sign up to this list via a sign-up form on our website. So we're going to choose on subscribe. And we're going to make sure that everybody who signs up via our sign-up form is added to this campaign. All right, that's all set. So now we're just going to drag in the messages that we want. So we're just going to pull these from that left-hand bar there. So we've got 5 messages we're going to send out. I can click on each one of these blocks and then choose the messages that I created in my drafts. So I'll do this. There we go. I don't have any real particular order for all of these. Some of these do, like the welcome email obviously goes first. All right, and we'll put that last message in here. Oh. There we go. So now, the way it's set up, somebody would sign up to this campaign and they're going to get all these emails at the same time. Obviously, we don't want to do that because nobody wants to sign up to something and then get 5 emails all at once. So we can space these emails out in our campaign using that wait card. So we'll go over here. We'll just drag this in between each message. Now, the default wait time between each message is 1 day. Now, one question I've always gotten is, what kind of interval should I set for an automated campaign? Should it be 3 days apart? Should they be 1 day apart? Should they be no days apart? It's really up to your discretion, and it's also based on the kind of expectations your subscribers have. If you wanted to send a weekly email from your automated series, you would just put a 7-day wait time in between each one. In this case, though, we just kind of want to trickle these emails out to our subscribers, so we're just going to put a 2-day wait time in between each message. So let's click that. Then we can adjust that over here on the right. So now we're changing that to be 2 days of waiting between each message we send out. And now it's all set. So somebody signs up to this list. They get the welcome email, 2 days. They get the club and community rules emails, again, 2 days, blah, 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 etc. Now, one last thing we can do with campaigns is we can add a tag. So we can tag any subscribers who have gone through this campaign. So we can do that by just dragging over the apply tag block. We'll just put it at the end here. And then we can say new member. Now, why am I doing a tag? Well, in this case, what I can then do is I can trigger a new campaign based on that tag. So if I wanted to start new members who have gone through that initial campaign onto a new automated series, I can do that, and I don't have to require them to sign up to any new list or anything like that. I would just trigger the campaign off of this tag. How would we do that? Let's save this and start a new campaign. I'm really unimaginative with my titles, so we're just going to call this new campaign. And rather than selecting unsubscribe, so in other words, when somebody fills out a sign-up form, they're added to this campaign, we're going to choose tag applied. And all we simply have to do is type in the tag we created earlier, so new member. And now anybody who completes that campaign from that previous one has that new member tag would automatically be added to this new campaign. And this is great. If you have a campaign set, you can tag them. And then whenever you're ready, a couple months down the line, you can start those people who are tagged as new member on a brand new automated series. All right, we're going to cancel out of that because we didn't really add anything to that new campaign. One last thing, when we're creating a campaign, we're all set. Our building a community campaign is ready to go. Again, we'll save that. All we need to do is activate it, and it's all set to go. Now, let's look at some other examples of an automated campaign. Let's go back to our slideshow. What about an automated campaign that deals with selling a product? Again, I'm willing to bet that most, if not all of you in the audience, are going to fall into this scenario. You're looking to sell a product or service through your automated series. So what are we considering here? Well, we want to create an opening or a welcome email. Again, that whole building the rapport, thanking people for signing up, building that relationship goes a really long way. We also want to offer free content within this automated series. This is one of the things that I think, and I'm not just saying this because I work here, I think Aweber does really well. We offer a lot of our educational content, almost all of it absolutely free. You don't have to be an Aweber customer to access it. And the idea behind this is we want to teach people how to be the best email marketer they can be, and even before they sign up for Aweber, so that when they do, they're armed with that knowledge to be successful with our product. And of course, you want to include calls to action in your emails to buy your product or service. Don't reserve your call to action for the end of the email series. Give people a chance to buy your product at any time they're getting any of your automated emails. So, what would this series look like possibly? Well, the first one would be thanks for showing interest in our product. Again, you probably don't want to use these as actual subject lines, but this just gives you the gist of where you'd want to start with the content for this email. You want to thank people who are interested in looking at your product. The second email would go over the uses for our product. This could be some instructional videos, could be a step-by-step how-to, anything like that. And what's important here is, again, these people aren't necessarily customers. They haven't bought the product yet, but you're putting them in the mindset of, well, if I had this product, this is how I'd use it. Email number 3 is a really cool one, and it may not apply to everybody, but if you can find feedback from people about your product, use that as some social proof to your subscribers. Say, hey, these people have gotten a lot of benefits out of our product. Check out what they're saying. And again, you want to put the call to action to buy your product in every one of these emails, because let's say somebody gets to email number 3, they read and they say, oh, so-and-so really, really likes that product. I'm going to buy. Click. Give them the opportunity to do so. Don't wait till the end. Of course, email number 4 is your standard. Hey, if you have any questions, reach out to us. And finally, email number 5 can be a little bit of a harder call to action. It's the end of the series where you're like, okay, you know what we offer, you know what the benefits are, you know how to use our product. Here's your chance now to buy. Email number 5 might even be something of possibly like an incentive you might want to give away, a discount, coupon, anything like that. So if we look at our campaign in Aweber, let's go to our next list, selling a product. This time I'm not going to individually add each email. I just already have everything set up. Again, very similar to what we just did with the building a community campaign. In fact, at the end, we even tagged with product name. So that way we can decide whether or not we want to send a new campaign with maybe a follow-up product, or if we want to re-engage people who are not interested. And finally, what about running an eCourse? So there may be some of you out there that are looking to use an automated series of emails to teach people about a particular subject or topic. Some points to consider? Well, we want to set expectations with the first email. If you've ever signed up for a course, college, independent classes, things like that, you usually start with a syllabus. And that first email in your series can be the syllabus for your course. Set expectations, let people know what they're going to see in future emails, and let them know what you expect the outcome to be. In other words, after you get to go through this course, you'll learn how to XYZ. Of course, with any other automated series, you want to offer help. So if somebody's got a question, a comment, they can contact you. And with an eCourse, you also want to give an idea of what the next level is. Let people know what the next step is in order to maybe sign up for another class. Maybe there's a more advanced course, or maybe you want to use that to then springboard off to sell a product. So, an eCourse might look like something like this. You got the first email, which is an introduction again, that syllabus, that's setting expectations. Before you start the course, the second email might even be, hey, if you need any help, just ask. I'm here for you. You might even be able to combine emails 1 and 2 together. Email 3 could be the first lesson, and email 4 could be, let's say, the second lesson. And then email 5 can be upcoming courses, either advanced courses, or again, this may be the perfect opportunity to sell a PDF or any kind of product you may have related to that course. Over in our Aweber account, let's go to our eCourse list. I wanted to show this one in particular because we've done something a little different here. We have 1-day intervals between the first 2 messages. But between the 2 emails that have lessons in them, we've put a 5-day interval. So in this case, maybe we want people to be able to go through the lesson, digest the content. Maybe they'll be sending us worksheets or something like that. So we want to give plenty of time for that. So we've extended that interval. And of course, we've tagged it at the end with completed first course. So again, I really intentionally kept a lot of this stuff generic, a little bit of the higher level, because it's going to be really different for everybody based on your scenario. But going back to those original scenarios I outlined here, I'm pretty confident that you're going to fall under one of these scenarios for your email campaign, whether you're looking to build a community, sell a product, or just simply teach something. So that really wraps up today's presentation. I made it just to about the 30-minute mark. Before I move on to questions, I do want to do a little bit of shameless self-promotion here for Aweber. If you're looking a little bit more about what to write in your emails, I definitely recommend downloading our What to Write course. Absolutely free. There's no charge to it. There's no sales pitches, anything like that. It's aweber.com/whattowrite.htm, or just Google the term Aweber What to Write. It'll be the first search term there. Highly recommend you download that. Again, there's no charge to it whatsoever, and it'll give you a little bit more insight from some of our writers here at Aweber, how you might want to write and what you might want to write about in your emails, automated or otherwise. All right, let's move on to questions. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Reggie's asking, well, let me move my mic real quick. I got the questions on my second monitor. Here we go. Reggie's asking, what is the best way to create a sales funnel that adds the desire to buy your product or service? Great question, Reggie. And kind of reiterating what I talked about earlier is educating your subscribers. One of the most powerful sales tools you're going to have is teaching people not only about your product, but about the benefits of using your product. So, for example, if we're creating an automated series that talks about Aweber and tries to sell Aweber, we might not only tell you about the features and how to use it, but we want to reiterate the benefits, how email marketing is cheaper than traditional marketing, how there's such a much more low barrier of entry to it. We might want to educate people about what to write in their emails. That's a perfect example because some people may be hesitant to sign up for Aweber if they don't know what they're going to write in the emails that they receive or that they send out. So any kind of education is great for a sales funnel. Hope that helps, Reggie. Let's see what else we have. Juan's asking, is the welcome email the same or similar to a thank you page? Well, it's not the same as a thank you page, but it is similar, Juan. Really, a thank you page is the page people see after they fill out your sign-up form. And usually it's just the simple, hey, thanks for signing up. And the thank you page usually directs people to check their inbox for your email. Now, most of the time, people who fill out a sign-up form are just going to naturally check their inbox because that's what they expect. They fill out a sign-up form, they get an email. The thank you page just helps for those people who may not be sure what the next step is. And again, thank you pages should be really basic. It should thank people for signing up and tell them, hey, check your inbox. I just sent you an email. All right, let's see what else we have. Got a couple people just asking about a recording. Yeah, again, just reminding everybody, right after we wrap things up here, probably take me 20, 25 minutes. I'll make sure I send everybody out a recording. You get an email. It'll also have a link to our next webinar. Again, it's a little bit of shameless self-promotion, where we'll talk a little bit about designing emails. So absolutely, everybody here is going to get that recording. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Oh, Laura's asking, when starting the campaign editor, I'm stuck. Don't know whether to begin with the on subscribe or tag applied. I know I breezed over this briefly, but let's go back there real quick. Let's save and exit. So when you're starting a new campaign, let's give it a name. You'll see there are two options. On subscribe is when somebody's added to your list by subscribing. Now, subscribing could mean they're subscribing through a sign-up form or they're being imported into your list. Tag applied means you have a tag that you previously assigned to that person. For example, such as somebody who goes through one of our campaigns and ends with a tag. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be choosing on subscribe. So when we click here, we'll be able to add a trigger. So how does somebody get onto this campaign? We click here, and if it's through our sign-up form, we just do source is sign-up form. So anybody who fills out the sign-up form that's associated with this list is going to go on this campaign. Maybe I'm importing a list of subscribers manually. Maybe I collected them offline. Maybe I'm moving from another email service provider. We would just choose import. Hope that helps a little, Lauren. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Gary's got a great question. What determines the start date of a campaign? I assume a campaign can be scheduled in advance. Well, here's the difference between a campaign and, let's say, like a broadcast email. With a broadcast email with Aweber, you can actually schedule it to go out at a set time and date. Now that is good for time-sensitive content, any kind of one-off email you may be sending out. A campaign is started whenever somebody activates that trigger. So for example, like we just set up here, if the trigger is our sign-up form, this campaign will start whenever anybody fills out a sign-up form. So Gary, if you fill out the sign-up form, you're started on this campaign today. If 3 days from now I sign up to the sign-up form, then I'm started on the campaign. And that kind of goes back to what I started at the beginning with. Campaigns are great for content that is not time sensitive. You set it, you forget it, but it's not time sensitive content. People are going to get that information whenever they sign up to your list. Hope that helps, Gary. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I've got a couple people asking how they can access previous webinars, any of the ones we've done before. So again, third time I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion. Videos.aweber.com is our video library. So we have a featured video we have some of the videos down here, but if you scroll down, we've got our webinars category. This is where I put all of the previously recorded webinars. So if I didn't send an email to you, if you didn't attend that webinar, check out this category. It's got all of our previous webinars right here. And while you're at it, check out any of the other videos. Again, you can filter those by category, whether you're looking to get started, looking for some information about integrations, can't talk anymore, or if you just want to check out some feature overviews. We have videos that cover all different kinds of topics. All right, looks like we're running out of questions here. I want to remind everybody that I will be sending out a recording later on. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. One more thing real quick. If you have any questions, always reach out to us, help@aweber.com, or talk to us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/aweber, or tweet at us @aweber. Again, check out our What to Write course. Absolutely free. It's aweber.com/what-to-write.htm, or just Google Aweber What to Write. Excellent course, dives into some of the stuff we talked about here today and even expands a little bit further. So highly recommend you download that. Thanks everybody for joining me today. It's always a pleasure. Have a wonderful rest of your week.